she's her own person. So like none of us should try to replicate exactly what, Bonnie is doing or Nikki is doing or Lindsay Matway is doing. We should all be doing our own thing. But when you first become a coach, you're kind of stuck in like this little box that you think that, okay, a Beachbody coach is a certain thing, and I'm going to try my hardest to be exactly that thing. So here we go. Let me know. Let me see if I can get the little chat up. Okay, there we go. Oops. All right, hopefully this moved to the next slide. So what I'm going to hop into right away is expanding your network. So when my business first took off, it was probably 3 months into my business, and this is when I first figured out that I needed to be adding friends daily. I thought at first that I could just tap into my warm market and that everybody would want to become a coach and buy a challenge pack and be lining up after I made my first coach post. And that didn't exactly happen, as you can imagine. So for a lot of you who are veteran coaches, this stuff is so basic, but I know there's a lot of new coaches on here too. So I'm just going to go through it like everybody is a brand new coach. So basically, if you're not already adding 3 to 5 friends daily or more, that is like my biggest tip that has helped me is expanding my network. And a lot of my coaches on my team ask me, but isn't that weird? Isn't that creepy if I'm adding new people who I don't actually even know in real life? And at first, it does seem creepy, but I want you to remember what it was like when you were a child. Okay, so you're in kindergarten, you just walk up to somebody and basically you just say, hey, do you want to be friends? And the person's like, okay. And then you're friends. You're like best friends from that moment on. And it took no effort. It didn't take anything special. You just became friends. And when you become adults, we kind of lose that. And you think that it's weird to want to be friends with somebody, or you have to have all this stuff in common or this great story of how you met. No, you can just become Facebook friends. So get out of your own head about that you can't add people as friends. And then what I tell my coaches is it's kind of like this little flirting game. So let's say that I wanted Lisa, I just friended her, and I want her to be my new friend. What I would do is as soon as she accepts my friend request, I go to her page and I like and I comment on a picture. I'd say, oh my gosh, Lisa, you're so beautiful. Even if I don't even know her. Is anybody going to get mad if writes you're beautiful on your picture? I know I wouldn't. I'd be like, oh my God, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. Oh, and then you're instantly friends like that. And I know that might sound weird, but that has worked wonders in my business just by complimenting people, liking their stuff, and being like a friend to somebody right away. It works wonders. So that is my biggest advice for expanding your network is to right off the bat become friends with those people by liking and commenting. And when you do that and they see one of your posts about being a coach or starting something like a challenge group, they won't think it's weird to reach out to you because you've already kind of broke the ice with them by complimenting, by starting a conversation, etc. So interact with these new people by liking and commenting. Be complimentary to somebody. Nobody's going to tell you off if you're giving them a compliment, I promise. If you say, oh my gosh, you look so sweet, or your dog's so cute, or your kids are adorable, they're not going to say, oh, get off my page, creep. They're going to be like, oh, you're so sweet. So, let's see. Okay, next up is figure out your why. So when you're a new coach, you think that you should be posting stock photos of the 21-day fix with the containers and you're just sharing pictures of your workout, or you're holding up the 21-day fix book. And you don't have to do that. When I kind of moved away from that is when my business really blew up. I figured out my why. And it wasn't my pageant why of, well, I just really love helping people. We all want to help people, and that is a fantastic why to have, but that might not get you out of bed on the hard days. That might not make you push further towards your goal when you're really tired, or when you're busy, or when life gets in the way. So think about your true why. For me, when I really sat down and thought about that, my why was I wanted to retire my boyfriend Anthony from his job. He manages a restaurant. He works overnight shifts, so I'm home alone a lot, which I hate. He never has the weekends free. We don't get to spend a lot of time together. my why was like, I'm going to make this happen, come hell and high water. I'm going to retire him. I am going to be able to provide for my parents when they retire. I want to be able to stay at home when we get married and have children. I want to be able to stay home. That was like my true why when I really thought about it. So I started posting about it on social media. This actually was just probably a few months ago. Bonnie and I had a kind of a little heart to heart, and she said, I think you should talk about the coaching opportunity more. And I'm thinking, I'm already posting about it like once a month. That seems like a lot. I don't know. People are going to get sick of it. And she's like, not everybody sees that. You have to talk about it more. So then I went to once a week thinking, well, okay, if I post about it once a week, that seems like a lot. People are probably going to get sick of it, so I'm not going to do it too much. And then I kind of thought about my why and thought, okay, if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to keep getting the results that I'm already getting, which was fine. I was making a decent income with Beachbody. I was helping an average amount of people, but it just wasn't enough. It wasn't lighting that fire under me. I wasn't getting excited about this because I wasn't getting any closer to achieving my why goal. So I took a good hard look at it, and I decided I was going to start talking about it literally every single day in literally every single post. And I'm going to show you guys some examples of how to make it not so in your face to people. You can subtly drip Beachbody on people in a way that is inspiring versus annoying. There we go. All right, so I saw this analogy, and I'm going to get to all these examples in a second here, but I saw this analogy actually by Coach Caleb, and he said, think of it as a padlock. So we can't all be like Bonnie. We can't all be like Nikki. You have to be yourself. That's how you're going to get success in this business, and think of it as a padlock. So if I have a padlock and it has 5 little digits, a little combination, and I put in my code, it's going to open. Well, if you have a different code, and I put in your code to the padlock, my padlock's not going to open. I'm never going to get it open. If my code is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and yours is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it's not going to open up. So if you put in, the analogy is, you guys are like, what is she talking about? The analogy is that if you're using like my why, you're not going to get results. If I'm using your why, the same thing. So it has to be authentically you. You have to make these posts authentic to you. If you guys are randomly posting about, hey, I'm out on the farm bringing in the horses in, like I was, people would probably be like, what? Okay, what is she talking about? So you have to make stuff about you. And then if you guys are having trouble sticking to being yourself, unfollow other coaches. Just put your little blinders on. You don't have to follow a bunch of Beachbody coaches because suddenly you kind of think that you have to be more like them, and you don't. You just have to be authentically you to be successful in this business. The best tip that I have heard is your Facebook wall is like a constant sneak peek. I have started implementing this, and it has rocked my business. If you take a scroll down my timeline right now, you'll know that I'm a coach. You'll know that it's giving me financial freedom. You'll know what I'm working towards. You'll know that I eat healthy, I work out, and that you can join me. There's always a call to action. Hey, my next challenge group is da-da-da. I would love for you to be in my coach mentorship. It's always a call to action, and everything is about Beachbody in a very subtle way. If you have trouble with that, find a success partner and do weekly scroll checks. Hannah and I check each other's Facebook every single week to see, are you doing enough? Do you need to talk about posting more? And honestly, guys, find someone who can be honest with you and you can be honest with them. That's how you're going to succeed in this business, is if somebody can tell you, hey, you're not really posting about the coaching opportunity enough. It doesn't look like you're posting about the challenge groups enough. You need to step up your game with XYZ. Okay. So this is just real basic, but if your profile picture is not already you, make it you. If your cover photo is not updated, update it. And if your profile picture, or if your profile is not set to public, it has to be. Like right now, like today after this call, immediately go set it to profile, public, update your cover photo, and make your profile picture just you. You're creating a brand, and it has to start with your face and you. It can't be an inspirational quote or whatever. It has to be you. That's basic. Okay, so here we go, getting into how I make Beachbody in almost like every single post. So hold on, I like literally have cotton mouth. All right, I'm back. Okay, so here we go. Literally, guys, every single post can be turned into something with Beachbody in a non-salesy way. So I do a lot of incorporating my animals. I say, like, that for me, that is living the dream. If you have kids, I would highly suggest that you post a picture of you with your children and saying, like, this is amazing, I'm staying home with them, or I got to pick them up from school, or XYZ. I got some flowers from Anthony, and honestly, I'm not even sure if he did give these to me for hitting 1-star diamond, but I was like, I sure as hell am going to post that I got these flowers for hitting 1-star diamond. Okay. And so I try to relay every post back to Beachbody because honestly, it has touched my life in so many different ways and in all aspects that I can make every single post about it. So even if I'm just hanging out with my new puppy here, I say, okay, I just wrapped up 3 new coach calls. That's a little drip there that I'm putting in. If I'm hanging out with my animals working, I'll say, this is my new normal. I'm staying at home, working from my laptop, helping people get healthy and building their own lives by designs. This life exists. And I think this is being recorded, so you guys can go back and read exactly what I wrote. But these are just some examples of how even basic posts of, me with my dog or me with some flowers or me with the cat and the dog can be about Beachbody. And I want you to notice one thing here is that I am in the post. It's not a picture of my cat. It's not a picture of my dog. It's not a picture of just these flowers. When I started taking selfies, literally, I'll just be like, woo, with like everything. I did this at the start of this call just now. I'm like, I'm on a call. If you're in it, that is your brand. Your face is your brand. So if you're just sharing pictures of stuff, people don't relate to that. If you're sharing a picture of your face and you with the stuff that you love, people relate to that. It's just subtly different, but it works, okay? Next. All right, I cannot take credit for this slide. I think this is Katie Hafner's slide, but it is amazing. I have so many coaches on my team who say, but I haven't had a transformation yet. I don't know how I can share anything. And I want to tell you, literally from the second that you post, the second that you click to become a coach, you have something to post about, okay? The second that you take your first sip of Shakeology or you do your first workout, you have a transformation because you've decided to start. And that in itself is inspiring. So post about it. Talk about it. You don't have to have some amazing transformation where you go from, being 300 pounds to being 100 pounds and you're like, wow, look at me, I'm amazing. It does not have to be like that. Guys, honestly, even the smallest transformation is inspiring to people. People, just like it says here, people want to know your story and it helps them trust you. If they want someone to help them who's going through it right then and there. Okay, I fished these out. This is from my first week of coaching, and actually tomorrow marks my 1 year with Beachbody, January 20th, 2015. So this was my first post ever right here. And I just copy and pasted from the new coach file, literally. But I did a selfie. Bonnie was like, put your face in it. I'm like, oh my God, she's crazy. I do not want to put my face on Facebook. That's insane. But I did it. And I got really good feedback from it. And as you can see here, I lost a little bit of confidence as the days went on. And instead, I'm like, I'll just do a picture of my feet. That seems good enough. I didn't get as good of results. So put your face in the picture. Share what you're doing and stay consistent with it. So these are from my first week of coaching. And right off the bat, from my first day that I was a coach, I have posted 3 times a day, every single day for the last 364 days. Tomorrow marks 365 days. So even when you're a brand new coach, there's something to talk about, and you can still be consistent with posting 3 times a day. And here is just a little stat that at any point in time, someone should be able to scroll through your Facebook posts and be able to see easily that you are a coach. And honestly, if you think in your mind, I know a lot of new coaches think this, that people are seeing so much Beachbody stuff. I'm getting so self-conscious about this. all that they see me talk about is Beachbody. It's not true, okay? People are only on average probably like 10% of your Facebook friends are actually even seeing your posts. Unless they're logging in on that exact moment or your posts are getting 500 likes right off the bat, they're not seeing every single post. That's why it's really important to stay consistent with talking about coaching, talking about your challenge groups, talking about health and fitness, talking about your newfound Beachbody community and how much you love it. It's really important to stay consistent with that. So here are some example posts. I'm just going to fly through these, and you guys can check them out later on the recording. But obviously, I post about being a product of the product. If I'm not talking about coaching, I'm talking about what I'm eating, that I'm working out, that I'm drinking Shakeology, that I'm loving XYZ about Beachbody. I talk about time and I declare my goals. So I shared that I've been drinking Shakeology. This was my 215th day in a row. One of my grandbaby coaches, Sarah, posted a goal that she wanted to hit diamond in 3 months. And not necessarily do people who are not part of the Beachbody world, they might not know what that means, but they will take notice, okay? They'll take notice that you are setting goals, that you're doing something. They might be like, what? I don't understand what Shakeology is, but I can guarantee them that I'm going to talk about it tomorrow and the next day and the next day, and they're going to keep seeing it, and eventually they're going to be curious about it. So talk about your dreams and a call to action. These are all just ways that you can talk about Beachbody every single day. Like I said before, when I really started sharing my heart and my why for this business in my posts versus just saying, hey, I'm loving 21 Day Fix, buy it from me. Like when I really started sharing that it was my dream to build this business and I addressed objections. I said, I know some people think that I'm crazy, but I don't care. And I said that I realized this is going to work. What if I'm not crazy? What if I can create the life that I'm dreaming of? And I do this all the time. I talk about this life that I'm dreaming of and that I'm working towards it every single day. Tell people what your goals are. Let them hold you accountable. And then also incorporate Beachbody and fitness into your everyday posts too. If I'm just out riding or I'm doing something random, I'll say about to hop on a team call from Manny's back, Life by Design. It's just dripping on people that I'm still living a normal life, but I'm also incorporating Beachbody into that. And here's just a picture of one of my coaches, Jess. She's making breakfast with her son, and he's holding the Shakeology. And she just says, making breakfast with him, super easy. It's awesome to have your kids help you with it. So not every post has to be in your face Beachbody. It can be subtle. And then highlight being a coach in a fun way. Recently, I've been talking about the retreat, Bonnie and Nikki's retreat. I talk about it all the time. I have random people in my family, like my cousins and stuff, who are like, I heard you want a free trip for Beachbody, woo! Because I talk about it all the time. So they don't even know exactly what it is, but they know that I want a trip, and it's through Beachbody. Here's one of our coaches, Lizzie, on my team. Her cat wants the Shakeology. We're all big animal people, so we're constantly posting about our animals and Shakeology or incorporating personal development, 21 Day Fix, etc. All right, here is one of my golden nuggets for you guys. This has been so huge for my business, is talking to people like they are real people, not like they're aliens. I used to talk to people super awkward, and I would kind of mass message people like, hey, do you want to be a coach? Have you heard of coaching? Because I'm a coach, and it's just like word vomit. And they're like, what are you talking about? And no, I definitely do not want to do that. No thanks. So here is what I say to people, or something similar. And I'd recommend you guys put this into your own words. This is a little bit off of posting, but I thought it was important. Here's how I talk to people, like they're a real person. This is how I would talk to someone if I was speaking face to face. Say, hey girl, I love your new puppy. He's so cute. Oh my gosh. I just have to ask, have you ever considered becoming a Beachbody coach? No big deal if you're not interested, but I think you'd be an amazing fit on my team. Like I said, no big deal at all. I just had to ask. XOXO. This right here has helped me so much to talk to people like they are normal people. Nobody wants to be sold. Nobody wants to be mass messaged. Bring up something, if you're going to send out invites, bring up something that is unique to them. If they have a new puppy, say, comment on the new puppy. If they just went to Disney World, comment on that. If you notice something about their posts, write that into your message. And then the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is because my invites are so successful. I probably have like a 75% success rate with sending messages like this because my posting is consistent. Because people read this message and then they go over to my Facebook wall and they say, what is Beachbody coaching? They scroll through one or two scrolls on my Facebook and they instantly know what a coach is. They're like, oh, wow, she's helping people. She's going on vacations. She's holding this thing called a challenge group, which it looks like is an online accountability group, she said. She's drinking this cool shake. She's eating healthy. They know it all just by scrolling one scroll on my Facebook. So that's the reason I'm sharing this with you guys, is because posting consistently and sharing Beachbody on your Facebook wall is going to make your entire business flow so much easier, and you're going to have such a productive team if you can help them with this. And then here's just proof of that from my posting. Mackenzie's one of my rock star coaches, you guys, and she messaged me based off of my posting and just said, hey, I'm interested in learning more about your challenges. Is it the same thing as the 21-day fix, or is it different? And P.S., I love your post. You're super motivating. And then the key is I talk to her like a person. I don't send her a copy and paste of, yeah, here's the 21-day fix. Here's my link. Do you want to buy it? I say, hey, thanks. You're so sweet. How are you? The challenge groups I run are so fun. Everyone in them chooses a Beachbody program. I do recommend the 21-day fix if you haven't done it yet. And I drink Shakeology once a day. Have you ever done a Beachbody program? And here, she's like, I'm doing well. How are you? It's more of a conversation and less of a shoving information in her face and sending a link, which she will never click on because it wasn't unique to her. And then I go on to tell her what it is and say, no big deal, she's not interested. And she says, that's awesome. That's definitely something I'd be interested in. And she became a challenger, and now she is an amazing coach who is almost a diamond. She is a rock star who hits Success Club every single month, and she's an awesome asset to our team. So the key there is she commented, or she sent me this message based off of my posts, my consistent posts. She already knew what the 21-day fix was, and she wanted to be in a challenge. She says, I want to be in one of your challenges. So be real, have a conversation with people, and it all ties in. It's this great circle of life in Beachbody. It starts with your consistent posting. Then you can message people. They'll already know what you're talking about because they see your post. It all comes down to your posting. And lastly, this is like my favorite quote ever. Be enthusiastic. Nobody wants to follow someone who's like a Debbie Downer, so I try to be so enthusiastic. And once you start, that just catches on. Like, this truly is my personality. I'm not just like, in my pictures all the time. And then in real life, I'm like, I hate life. I actually am an enthusiastic person. And I've learned that through Beachbody, through personal development, and Jen Sincero says it best. She says there's nothing as unstoppable as a freight train full of people with a hell yeah attitude. So you guys just go out there and rock your posts, be enthusiastic about it. People are going to be curious about why you're so enthusiastic about it, and stick with it. They're looking to see if you're going to be consistent. They're waiting to see if you're sticking with this. And when you send out those invites, send them with confidence, knowing that someone can go back to your profile and at any time they'll know exactly what coaching is and that it looks like an absolute ball and they'll want to join you. So that is how I have run my business and branched out and started telling my story via my posts. And it's really just helped my business so much. And you guys, I'm not special at all. Any of you guys can do this and be successful with your posts and with this business. So that's all I have for now. But
mic drop. Boom.
I hope that was a little helpful.
I have this memory of you. When I first met Liz, was at our first diamond retreat. And I just want to let you know, like, when she says that she has a hell yeah attitude in real life, it's actually true. So we stayed up, like, super late because she got in super late. And it was, like, it had to be midnight. And we had been up all day long doing stuff. and we were in the middle of nowhere in this like kind of creepy-esque country house, like no streetlights anywhere, like dirt road style, and everyone had to kind of find their way to the house. And Liz rolls up, and we're all like super tired. There's like 3 of us still awake, and she's like, "Hello!" Oh my god, you are exactly like that in real life. So that's my favorite memory of you. But you just killed that call. Thank you so much for that real actionable stuff. I loved your analogy of like the children making friends, because it's so true. In the beginning, you know, we just go up to people and we're like, "Hey, you look fun. Do you want to be my friend?" And it's not weird at all. But then all of a sudden, when you grow up and you get insecure and have fears of people not liking you, you have to overthink everything. So I think there's a couple questions down here, if you wouldn't mind answering.
Yeah. Okay, so I saw that Denise said, like, how do you deal with people that don't respond? Okay, so I actually learned this from Bonnie. She was like, just keep reaching out to them. And at first I'm like, you're psycho. I would never just keep sending messages to somebody. Like, that's crazy. But I actually do just keep sending messages to people. It looks like my video is off. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can see me or not. But let's see, I will follow up with people in a super non-creepy way by saying, Denise, if you didn't respond, for instance, and I would follow up with you probably in about a month, and I would just say, like, kind of the same thing, like, "Hey, Denise, I'm just wondering if you have seen my post about challenge groups. It sounds like something that you'd really love. No big deal either way, but just wanted to follow up with you." And sometimes they won't respond, and that's okay. I look at people that don't respond as a seed planted in someone who is now watching my posts. And that has worked amazing for my business, to not get down about it and instead look at it as a seed planted. Because it's not 100% success rate, but probably about 50% of the people who don't respond to my messages at some point in the last year have, liked or commented one of my things about a challenge group or coaching, or they've come back around and said, "Okay, actually, I'm kind of interested." And the same goes for a challenge group invite. If somebody expresses initial interest and then you can't get them to respond, you're like, "Hello, thought you were going to buy something," and then they don't. I just keep telling them when the next challenge group is. I'll keep sending a message to you, Denise, every single month saying, "Hey, Denise, I know you're interested in my last challenge group and just wanted to let you know the next one starts February 1st. No big deal either way." And I don't know about you guys. You can choose to say the no big deal part, but I always do that because it keeps it super duper friendly. And people always kind of look at me as a friend versus a salesperson. When I do that, I always say, "No big deal either way, just let me know." And then they feel comfortable saying yes or no, which you might think is like, "Oh, that's crazy," because then they'll feel comfortable saying no. But honestly, a lot of times then they feel comfortable like saying yes or expressing their fears towards you. So honestly, Denise, I would just keep following up, honestly, like every single month. And eventually, if it gets to the point where they're like hating your messages, which probably won't happen because you're a positive, delightful person, then they'll just like delete you if they get that sick of it. But I follow up every single month with people, even if they don't respond.
And honestly, you guys, if you are posting like Liz is posting, if you are implementing those things, a lot of times if you can answer those people's objections in your public posts, it will make it easier for them to make the decision. So 100% of the time, people aren't answering you because they're insecure or they don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
100% of the time.
My thing is like this has happened to me multiple times where I've messaged people that I've known for years, and like they just don't respond, like they ghost out on me, and then all of a sudden they throw me into an event like with Jamberry. How do you approach that? I mean, honestly, it does kind of irritate me, but at the same time, it's like, what do you do? Like, how do you approach that? Do you message them and say, what's going on? Like,
yeah, I mean, honestly, don't overthink it. Like, Lulu, stop. Sorry.
oh,
Like, if someone does that to you, it'd be like, "Hey, girl, totally saw your Jamboree party, not interested, but is there any reason why you didn't answer my message?" Like,
love it. Like,
you honestly just talk to people like they're real people. Like, don't don't walk on eggshells around someone. Like, we're all real people just trying to give someone something that we know works. So if someone does that to you, just say what you feel in a nice way. You know, it's kind of like that have courage and be kind thing. Like, we're not peddling like some weird thing that doesn't work. Like, there are 30 plus people on this call who have ignored at least several of my messages when I was inviting you. So I will tell you from experience that you continue to add the value. If you're getting people who don't respond to this specific part of your conversation, like say typically people don't respond after you tell them the price, then that would tell me that you need to publicly talk about in a roundabout, non-specific way about how much value it's added into your life and how the price at first you were scared of, but it's given you A, B, C, and D, and now you would do it over again.
Yeah, I made an awesome meme with my daughter about Shakeology and the cost. So that got a lot of feedback. So that's awesome. Thank you.
So just like Liz said, not just once or twice, like you literally have to be doing that stuff every single day.
Right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like Jen said, sometimes I get too excited and then I have information overload moments when they ask me about a program. How do I rein it in and still get the message across? Okay, so I have had that issue too. And the way that I fix it is start asking them questions instead of just spewing out information to them. This will really, really, really help you get them to respond. So a lot of you are talking about people are just ghosting me once I talk about stuff, which everybody has that issue until you start asking questions. So for instance, Jen, if somebody says, hey, Jen, I'm interested in the 21-day fix challenge pack or whatever, can you give me some info? And your normal response is to just tell them like every single detail about the program. Instead of doing that, say, oh my gosh, yes, I would love to tell you about that program. It has helped me so much in the past year. What are some of your fitness goals? We can see if this program will work for you. And they'll be like, oh, okay, well, I wanted to get the information, but she's asking me about my goals now. So they'll say, okay, I'm looking to, lose weight or whatever. And you can say, that's great. This program really lays the foundation for nutrition, which is one of the most important parts of weight loss. It has these awesome portion control containers that teach you exactly what to eat and how much, X, Y, Z. And then ask another question. Say, do you have a fitness routine right now? And they'll be like, oh, she asked me another question. Actually, I'm going to the gym or I do whatever. So give them little bits of information versus sending them a giant like copy and paste or writing them paragraphs of information. Rein yourself into like one paragraph of information and sharing bits and pieces and then asking them a question, having them interact back and forth with you. That has worked really, really well for me. And then I never I share this with my team all the time. They have issues with people having the price objection. I don't know if any of you have ever had that, but here's how I deal with it. I don't tell people the price right up front. And that's not to trick them or to hide the price from them, but you want to create value, first of all. So I tell people exactly what they're going to get in the 21-day fix challenge pack. I tell them about the portion control containers, the meal guide, that they're getting 30 days worth of Shakeology, which replaces a meal, and it's not a protein shake, it's a meal replacement. It's not, made with superfoods. It's amazing. I drink it every single day. I lay all this foundation for the value that they're going to get, and we have this conversation back and forth, even if they say, well, what's the price? I just keep going like I didn't even hear that question about price. I just keep going, asking questions and talking back and forth. And at the end, I've created so much value for this program that if I said it was $400, they'd be like, okay, let's do it, because they're so ready to commit. So, Jen, I would just try to go back and forth with them, keep creating that value, and that'll help them respond to you, and you'll go more back and forth versus you just spewing information and them being like, forget it.
Okay, no, that's really good information, because I do, like, I get super excited and then I feel like I just regurgitate everything that I can possibly think of, and sometimes it just comes across as I read it and it's literally like 5 paragraphs and I'm like, that was just really too much information you threw out there.
Yeah. I would just try to go more back and forth and just remember to really create that value for people, and then you'll never have a problem with them wanting to commit, or you'll never have a problem with the price if you've really created that value for them.
Now, if you now the other thing I have is I had someone that was potentially interested, and then she messaged me, "Well, is this the program you're using?" And she had a snapshot from Amazon. Now, I tried to explain the benefits of why you should go with Beachbody and join the site as opposed to Amazon, but she, again, it was that issue of price and stuff like that. So when I get stuck sometimes in that situation too, where someone's like, "Well, I found a great deal on eBay or Amazon." Like, how do you?
Okay, so for that, I really create the value with the challenge pack because you can't get a challenge pack, I'm pretty sure, on Amazon or eBay. So I really create the challenge pack. Honestly, I don't even give people really the option. I'm never like, well, you can get it without Shakeology. I say, look, if you want to be in my accountability group, everybody is doing the 21-day fix or whatever program they're doing and drinking Shakeology. And the best way to do that is by getting what's called a challenge pack. It's just a bundle of the program with Shakeology. I don't even talk about the other options because to get into one of my challenge groups, that's a requirement. I have set up that expectation for myself and for my entire team. That everybody, because that's how we know how to get results. I can't promise someone that they're going to get results if they're just buying it off Amazon and just doing the program. But I can promise they're probably going to get results and love their body and feel confident if they're doing exactly what the program says in my accountability group with drinking Shakeology. So try to create the value more of your accountability group, of your challenge group, and of Shakeology. Be like, look, girl, you need this. That's what I tell people.
Okay, no, that makes sense then. Okay, so when they do that, just bring the accountability group and say, hey, you can, you should really do it this way, and then talk about Shakeology as well.
Yeah. I talk about that's what everyone in the accountability group is doing, and if you're not interested in that, I can check back in with you weekly. But everyone in the accountability group is doing it this way, and that's how I know how to best get results.
Okay.
And if they're really a stickler, I'll say, look, honestly, it's risk-free. Shakeology is risk-free. You can do this for 30 days, and if you're not getting the results, if you're not feeling better about your body, more energy, you're not starting to lose weight, you can send it back, the empty bag back. So I don't say that a lot, but if somebody's really like pushing back hard on me, which again won't really happen a lot if you start to create the value. I probably 1 out of 50 people for me has like a price objection because I create such value even just in my posts too. So if you start posting about the value of Shakeology, the value of this program, the value of the Beachbody community, you won't have that many price objections. You'll have some people that say it, but you'll be able to overcome it super easily. That's just my experience with it.
I was also going to say that, Liz, I rarely ever get price objections anymore because I share so much of where I was before Beachbody and what it's done for me. And people just know that that's what I'm about. So I rarely get that anymore. In the beginning, I got it a lot. So I think that everyone's kind of underestimating how much of an asset posting publicly about those things can be for you and creating that lifestyle publicly like Liz has done. It will literally make objections non-existent almost. So it kind of does the work for you. But we'll do one more question. Jenny said, how do you find new people to add as a friend?
Okay, so I do it a couple different ways. Most often it's just like, that suggested friend box pops up. Hopefully it does it for everybody. I'll add people off of there. I'm very, very, very careful to never add somebody who already has like a bunch of Beachbody coaches as friends. Because you don't want to be somebody who's stealing from someone else. That's just not cool, and that's just not what we do. So I add people off the suggested friends. I will check out my friends who are not Beachbody coaches. They're like my mutual friends list, or go to recently added, things like that, and scroll through people's friend lists. And honestly, what I'm looking for is people that if I scroll on their timeline, they remind me of myself. They're someone who looks positive. They're posting positive things, not happy things. So I add people like that. I also have joined several different groups. I have an immune deficiency, so I'm part of like an immune deficiency group, and several people on my team now I've gotten from those groups. I've joined a couple like healthy eating groups. If you're a mom, I'd suggest joining mom groups, or if you're like a soccer player, join a soccer group. and just start getting creative. Make friends with those people, and it's going to take some effort from you. It's going to take some interaction, but once you start making your profile public, I don't know how it works, but people will find you. I found Bonnie. She did not find me. A lot of my top coaches on my team have found me because they said, wow, your post really inspired me. I want to learn how to do what you're doing. I have no clue where they came from, but I swear, you guys, it all starts with your posting. So if you nail that posting, people, and you have your public or your profile public, people are going to find you. But until then, be adding 3 to 5 people a day via the suggested friend box, or going to your friends' friend lists, or groups, join groups, add those people, etc. I don't know, Bonnie, if you have other suggestions, but that's what's
so basically everything that Liz said is, the thing about your profile being public is it's kind of magical. It like does the work for you. So, and Jenny, you're really good because you have another business. So I don't know why you doubt all the time that you can find new people, and you're in all these Air Force wives groups. Like, there's tons of people for you to find, but for some reason, everyone has this mind block for themselves that they can't find new people, but they're right there. I think that we have a tendency to overthink expanding our market, but we've already expanded it. Number one, your warm market basically never really dries up. Like, there's always going to be people who you're friends with on your list that haven't made the leap, or I'm still getting messages from people that I know from different parts of my life saying, hey, I've watched you for 2 years now and I'm ready. But you don't have to sit around and wait for that. The thing that Liz is talking about is, and the way that she found me, when other people like your posts and your profile is public, that other person has 6 degrees of separation how they know you, right? So they have an entirely different market. So once that person likes your post, that person's friends of friends of friends are seeing X liked Liz Steff's post. So not only is that person doing you a favor by liking your post, but that's how you expand your market, because all those other people are seeing that person like your post, and that's how you get followers. And then you doing legwork, going to, maybe you know a photographer in your town who you really love, and you like the kind of people that they are. So naturally, you would like the kind of people who would hire that photographer. So I would go to their like page, look at all the people who liked their page, and go through and friend maybe 5 or 6 of them and just say, hey, not to be weird or anything, but I shot with so-and-so photography, and I saw you did too. Your pictures look awesome, just like having connections. Bam, made a new contact. Bam, new follow-up. So try not to overthink it so much. It's actually, Facebook and social media and Instagram make it so easy for us to expand our market. Like, we don't have to pay for anything or anything like that. Like, it's already right there for us. So that's kind of what Liz is talking about when she says make it public right now, which I always say. So thank you so much, Liz, for spending time with both teams tonight. You did an awesome, awesome job. All actionable stuff, you guys. If you are on this call, make it a point to get off the call and do something that she said to do. It is working for her, so it obviously will work for anyone else. So thank you so much for being willing to share all of that. You did amazing. And I hope everyone else signs up for the Team Cup either tonight or tomorrow. Registration ends on the 31st, I believe. So we do have quite a bit of time, 10 or 11 days. But thanks again, Liz. You're awesome. And I'll post the recording as soon as it's up in the team page. Have a good night, you guys.
Thanks, guys.